and welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. This is Helene, and it has been like too long since I've done one of these. Hope you enjoyed the Shape Up Summit that was last week, that I was fortunate enough to be one of the hosts. And you can continue to watch the Shape Up Summit at shapeupsummit.com. Great talks, like 24, 26 talks. Absolutely amazing. So let's say thank you to Shroomeats for sponsoring our, still May, our talks this month. And you can enter our contest. Do you like to win prizes? Because I like to win prizes. You can win prize packs from 6 different companies that sponsor Virtual Vegfest Live. One of them being Shroomeats, Follow Your Heart, Orgain, Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, and Cinnaholic. And what do you have to do to enter? Go to virtualvegfest.com, peruse, maybe shop a little, and hit the contest tab. And enter. And you can do things like subscribe to our Virtual Vegfest YouTube. You get 25 entries for that. That's clearly what we want you to do. So if you can do that, you get entered, and it's every month. So next month, guess what? We always put stuff in there that you can enter again if you don't win. We pick randomly, just so you know. We use Wishpond. So thanks to the Plant-Based Network for also sponsoring Virtual Vegfest Live. And we are going to talk about Keep It Fresh Day, Keep It Fresh Fest. We're going to talk about the Land of Kush. We're going to talk to Naijha. We're going to go to Baltimore. It's going to be really cool. If you have any questions or comments, remember you can put them in the little box. And unless I've forgotten something, which I might have, but that's okay, we're going to get started because, a week off and everything goes away. Hey, how are you?
Hi, Helene. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, I already said that.
I'm doing fine. I'm well and breathing. I mean, can't be more blessed than that.
100% true. And it's, the warm weather and it's, the start of summer because, that's, a weekend makes it so the summer starts. It's funny. I grew up on Long Island and like Memorial Day was that time where you went, oh, Long Island's going to tip into the ocean again. Because so many people go to the Hamptons that literally the joke is it just sinks. It just sinks from all those people and on the traffic. It makes it so much worse. So it's always, and then you're like Labor Day. Oh, thank goodness they all go back. They don't come back here anymore. Because you have to plan your day. Like, oh, I'm not going to come over because I won't be able to get home. So I'm glad to leave that behind because here in North Carolina in the Raleigh-Durham area, traffic is nowhere even close to what it was out there. See, we talk about anything, but I want to throw this at you. Can you tell everyone who you are? You're involved in so many things. Just tell us all about it.
Sure. I'm Naijha Wright-Brown. I'm co-owner of the award-winning Land of Kush Vegan Soul Bistro in Baltimore, Maryland. We are celebrating over 10 years. So congratulations to that. I mean, we've been hit with the pandemic and, a lot of restaurants didn't make it, but we are blessed to be here and celebrating over 10 years. I am also the executive director of the Black Veg Society of Maryland, and we are meeting people where they are on their plant-based and vegan journeys. I also have my own digital talk show, Naijha Speaks, on YouTube at naijhaspeaks.com.
Fantastic. And Susan, hey Susan, welcome. She ate at Land of Kush 2 years ago.
Hi, Susan. Thank you. I hope everything was good. What did you have? Let us know.
Actually, I was going to say that. I was like, what did you eat? Do you remember? We always remember when we have really delicious food because I've heard amazing things about the Land of Kush. I mean, I need to spend more time in Baltimore to eat there. I just wasn't there long enough to get there. And then, Expo East kind of consumes
Yeah, we missed
you.
Expo East. Yeah, when Expo East was in town, we'd just be bombarded with a lot of Expo East customers. So we definitely miss Expo East.
It was wild. The amount of stuff we came home with, the amount of stuff we carried around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was down there too, racking up.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
dragging these big bags. Like,
they should like
send I'm gonna get out of here.
They should send you in with a cart and they give you one bag, and you're like, this is if you're inexperienced. It's not gonna
work.
If you're like a noob, yeah, you like end up with like extra bags and like we came home with like full size like jars of pickles.
Wow.
And like full size like oat milk.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, that was just those two things, and that was towards the end. Poor Steven, I've spoken about this before, but he was carried all this stuff, and I walk over, he's like loaded
Look,
down with bags, and I come
you had
over.
help. You had help. I
I
had my young daughter. She was barely helping me carry it. I had to carry all that stuff out myself.
Oh
And then,
my
when they put the restriction in, you had to like kind of stuff everything in either the one or two bags. It's like, oh my God, how's this going to work?
god, exactly, but it was per day. But I like walked over with, like, the jar of pickles, and he looked at me like, I'm gonna kill you. How many more heavy things can you put on my body?
Sending shout outs to Expo East.
Definitely, they went virtual for the West, and Expo East will be in Philly this year. But let's talk about an event that's happening in just a few weeks.
Yeah, keep it fresh day fest, June 14th.
Yep.
Thank you to ETEF, aka DJ Kavum, out in Denver. That's my peeps. He went from being a gangster, an OG, an original gangster, to an organic gardener, and definitely on the move and on the upward move of being a eco hip hop artist. Yes, eco hip hop artist. Who would have thought that you would hear that there's an eco hip hop artist out there? Shout out to DJ Gavin.
Oh, definitely. He's awesome. I kind of joked around. I don't know if should I say this. I'll say it anyway because I say whatever. So in the first couple of meetings, I mean, you're in them, right? He doesn't have a shirt on, and I'd never seen him or met
Are
him.
you him out? Okay, I'm gonna tell his wife. I
I
didn't
was
notice if he
like,
had a shirt on or not. I wasn't paying attention, so I'm gonna leave that with you.
I was like, he's in these meetings without a shirt, and I was like, oh, these are great meetings.
Hot out there in Denver. You know what I'm saying? The sun's beaming and everything. So
It was really funny. I'd come back to, like, our private meetings, and I'd be like, you didn't have a shirt on, right? I was like, this is this
he's
was
keeping it
fresh.
fresh. Okay.
Most definitely. So the Keep It Fresh Fest, well, Keep It Fresh Fest is
Yeah, keep it
happening
fresh.
on June 14th, and it's
June
it's
14th.
it's in multiples of cities.
Multiple cities.
It's in Baltimore, it's in Durham, North Carolina, Baltimore, Maryland, just in case people don't know. And it's in Durham, North Carolina, Denver, Colorado, Oakland, California. Correct me if I have cities that we
In New
need to
York
change.
City.
And
In
New
New
York
York
City.
City.
Yes, and we're
Mm-hmm.
New York. It's no one does like New York, New York. It's New York City.
In New York City, where I'm from, my hometown. Shout out to New York.
Exactly. Yep, we're both New Yorkers. So, and it's really cool. It's pretty neat because each city is going to have, like, something going on, and we can obviously talk about Baltimore and Durham, and at night there's a virtual element to this, and it's a great way to build awareness. For me, I wanted to have it in Durham because I really wanted to support our local vendors and highlight them and give them some extra love for
Yes.
what they do and what they're doing every single day, because we're going to
And
have it
that's
at,
all they're asking for, that
right.
extra exposure and promotion. So, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's at Pure Soul in Durham, and Deb's going to be there with these, like, vegan kitchen sweet treats. I never get her name right, but either way, it's the best fudge ever, and, like, crispy treats. So, and then whatever else, we're going to do a food drive. I think that's definitely going to happen. It'll start soon, and I'm trying to get music, but even if there isn't, they have music there, and the food at Pure Soul is incredible. And we're going to go live on the Plant Based Network, and so that we stream for, like, about 5 minutes to get some further love. And of course, you and I are definitely going to stream to our own personal social networks. And
Yes.
I
So
mean,
make sure you're following at Black Veg of MD, because we will be streaming on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So the Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland. So Keep It Fresh Day is Monday, Meatless Monday, and that's what it's all about. We want to make sure that you celebrate and that your plates are all fresh fruits, vegetables, plant-based foods. We're interviewing restaurants around the city. We have a produce giveaway going on. We're going to have the bike folks out here talking about the environmental impact and how to keep it fresh that way. It's just going to be a whole lot of fun. Dr. Bonners is donating stuff to
yes.
give away. So we're excited about all of that stuff.
Right. And of course, Meatless Monday is supporting this. It's almost like they're sponsoring that day. I mean, why not? It's a Monday. So we want everyone to kind of put that on their calendars right now and go and support if you're in these cities or close to them. Come out, enjoy some delicious food and the atmosphere and supporting these restaurants and businesses and just and keep it fresh day because I mean, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. And if you got to go to the site, the keepitfresh.org site, sign up, make sure you're getting the updates that will be sent out, as we move closer to the event. And of course, if you're following us at Black Veg of MD on social media, you'll be getting updates on what's happening. So we have a schedule on the site, the keepitfresh.org site, and the schedule will continue to be updated with the things that are going on around the cities. The main event starting at 6 o'clock. We'll have cooking demos, a panel discussion. Koya Webb is going to be speaking. We'll throw some music videos in there, and yeah, we're just going to have a good time. And I think there's a screening, for those of us that can stay up late. There'll be a movie screening. So yeah, this is the first one of its kind this way. We are partnering with Plant Based Network, Vita Earth Foundation, Triangle Veg Fest. So hey, show us your support. Keepitfresh.org.
Exactly. So that's the event happening on June 14th, which we're super excited about and working on diligently every week. But let's talk about you. You do a lot.
Me? Yeah,
You
yeah. I do a lot. I'm trying to get a lot off of my plate. Also, I just became secretary of the Restaurant Association of Maryland board, so I'm excited about that because it's going to give an opportunity for small business owners to be recognized and catered to by a large association as such. The Restaurant Association of Maryland does a lot of things in the state of Maryland. So I'm excited about that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, the show. I'm always looking for interesting guests that can speak to the people of color. The we call it the people of the global majority. I love to talk about vegan movements and the culture within that realm. So I'm always looking for guests to interview and talk to about their experience. So you can always reach out to me, Naijha Speaks at Naijha Speaks on social media, and become a guest.
oh, that'd be great. And how often do you go live? Do you go live
I
or do
go
you
live
record?
at least twice a week. So I contribute for Jane Unchained News. I love Jane Unchained, and you don't know who that is. I mean, she has a talk show platform of her own, videos for the voiceless. So she's an animal rights activist based out of the West Coast. And I cross post a stream to her platform on Thursdays and Sundays at 11. So, I love to book guests during that time because it allows me to cross post to her platforms as well as all the platforms that I have access to. So, yeah, I try to consistently schedule during those times. I also do cooking demos. So, if I don't have guests, I might pop up and do a cooking demo. I did a cooking demo last week. Quick demo on what I eat for breakfast. So, it's just a fun time. So, building the page, building the content, and just talking to fabulous people. I just talked to a gentleman today that created the Black Vegetarians and Black Vegans of the World Unite Facebook page, and he's been around since 2008. And it's an incredible page if you want to find out about recipes, how to make things, about vegans, Black vegans, cultural vegans across the world. There was an article on there about Afro vegans in Germany. I just love interviewing interesting guests. So again, naijaspeaks.com.
That's awesome. That's like really awesome. So what'd you make for breakfast? What'd you cook? What was the cooking demo?
Today, what do we have today? Ooh, that's a good. What did I have? Oh, a smoothie. So one of the things I had today was a smoothie, and I demoed it last week. So it's a smoothie with some flax milk, either vanilla or unflavored. Got a banana in there, some ice cubes, one date, teaspoon of spirulina, 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, blueberries, and walnuts. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. You
Nice.
can't go wrong.
No.
So that's what I had for breakfast today. Yesterday I had grits with sauteed veggies. So that's another favorite of mine. So it's either avocado toast, tofu scrambled, the grits with sauteed vegetables, or the green smoothie that I just described.
That sounds incredible. I do a smoothie every day. It's
Mhm.
my I don't do caffeine, so it's my coffee in a sense. I crave it. And I do fruit. I don't go green because I we just yeah, Steven just picked up like a green drink and I was like, "Does it smell like dirt?" He was like, "Yes." I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to try that." Nope. I'm all good. You enjoy that. I smell it. He's like, "Smell the cap." And I was like, "It smells like celery."
Oh wow. I
Yeah,
love
it's like
celery too. You know, celery is one of those vegetables that if you are craving for sweets, if you consume celery, it satisfies your needs for sweets. I love it. And then it has that crunch too.
okay. I'm totally gonna take your word for that. Celery is like one of those vegetables for me that if I get it, I chop it and put it in soup.
I love it in soup.
Soup.
It's so versatile. Soup, salads, or as a
Yeah.
treat. Oh,
Right.
to
Yeah.
put some sunflower butter on it. You know, the children use it and they can make a treat where you got your sunflower butter and you put some raisins on
Raisins.
it.
Yep.
And it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's
I
what is
love
it? It's
celery.
it's called ants in a
Yeah, the ants on the log.
ants on a
Ants on the
log.
log.
Yep.
Yeah. Or get some salsa. You dip it in some salsa or some vegan queso, vegan cheese.
It's still celery.
I love it,
It
man.
just it hasn't really resonated with me. I'm better depending on how fresh it is, I will eat it if it's in the salad, maybe. But it tends to go to the side and hey Steven, you want this?
I love that crunch, man. Like like if there's a salad that's kind of missing that crunch, it's either I'm gonna sprinkle some sunflower seeds or it's gonna get some celery on it or some cucumber and like, oh, it just makes my day.
So I want to talk about Land of Kush. I mean, I we can just spend the next hour talking about food because food.
Land of Kush, yeah, Land of Kush. That's my Land of Kush is my husband's brainchild. He wanted to bring this modern day concept to the city of Baltimore. So he studies the African diaspora, and he just so happened wanted to open up a restaurant and be a vegan restaurant. So when he met me, so again, his idea was way before I even met him. So by the time I came onto the scene, he was coming. I guess building his group, his organization, you know, his team that was going to help him get to the next level. And I said, hey, I love soul food. This is before I was fully vegan because I told him, look, we can get together, but I'm not giving up my seafood. I like seafood. So if you could deal with that, then we're cool. And he was like, yeah, I could deal with that. But anyway, I was big into soul food. We were talking about collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, you know, you name it. Now, I wasn't really big into consuming pig and intestines and all that other stuff. I think that's gross and disgusting, and no one should be doing it. But I said if we veganize some of these things, I think we have something because we're catering to a market that likes soul food, not rabbit food, soul food. They want flavor. It has to be hearty. It has to be seasoned, and it has to be tasty. So what he did, he went back in the kitchen, you know, found recipes, boom, 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 bam. Our biggest seller, barbecue ribs, vegan barbecue ribs and a homemade barbecue sauce. Sweet barbecue sauce, not smoky, because you know barbecue sauces can be different. So it's a sweet barbecue sauce, collard greens without the smoked turkey in there. You know what I'm saying? Just seasoned well, and baked mac and cheese, making our own vegan cheese and baked, not the one that you drizzle cheese whiz. We actually bake it, so it's a process. And yams, you know, yams are vegan if you don't put the marshmallows and all that other stuff in it. So unless you're going to use vegan marshmallows, so those items were hits. So we would sell we would sell out at festivals where we were the only vegan vendor there. There'd be hundreds of food vendors, everyone serving fried fish and chips and fried this, fried that, and we would sell out 3 days in a row with our vegan soul food. hey, we had to find a location. So we did. We found one in 2010 and we opened in 2011. And then Stevie Wonder shows up 3 years later, just on a whim, like, I'm just going to go to this restaurant. We Google something, Google, and then Land of Kush. And then we hit national news. Now we're known all over the world because of Stevie Wonder. Thank you, Stevie. And then after that, it just became, Danny Glover, the actor, and we have Ray Lewis in here. We've had Angela Davis, and then boom, we have to come up with crab cakes. Why? Because we're Maryland, and it's all about the crab cake, right? So we had to come up with a vegan version, and then a couple of years later, PETA hits us with the top 10 vegan seafood dishes in America, and Land of Kush is right there in the top 10. So we were like, we got it, man. We got it. Thanks, Davita. I appreciate it. Davita, I'm so glad you tuned in. I used to supervise Davita, and now she's supervising everybody else. So sending blessings to Davita Grant.
Congratulations, Davina. That's fantastic.
She can definitely tell you the story, my corporate story, when I was in corporate America and I was actually managing teams and trying to build teams up. So bringing that knowledge, because I know nothing about food service, but I do know about dealing with people in customer service and just strategizing, building relationships, and all those important things that you need to build a successful business, that needs to stay open, right? Because that's what we all want to do, stay open.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're doing a really great job. And you were way ahead of the curve because vegan soul food in 2010, who else was doing that?
Well, before we opened, there was a vegan restaurant out here. There were a couple of vegan restaurants, or two, I would say. One was down in Fells Point, and still is. That was Liquid Earth. But the other, there was a black vegan restaurant people would go to called the Yaba Pot, and Greg knew the owner, so he was an apprentice for some time under the Yaba Pot, and they were open for 5 years. So, like, this was the spot people would go to for their vegan soul food, and she would really cook more raw type of options, like the salads, real flavorful salads. And she had ribs, vegan ribs there, some other hot stuff, but she was really into that raw, what they would call like alkaline food, your Dr. Savy type of items. And this was the place to go. And after she closed down, we opened up and we were pretty much by ourselves for a long time. And then now you can find, vegan soul food restaurant almost anywhere in the city.
Yeah, and almost every city. Well, not every, you know what I mean. Like almost every major city, even here. Obviously, we have a few of them here actually. I mean, we're from the South, so it lends itself to vegan soul food because, you know, just make the collards without the chunks of pork in it and the bacon.
Yeah,
It's like so
yeah.
easy. Just make it so everyone can eat it.
Yeah, just season it well, and the
Yep.
sauce is the boss, You got your sauces, you got your seasoning, put those two together and you'll be all right. You got yourself a meal,
Oh,
a
and
tasty meal.
a tasty meal. What do you make your ribs out of?
It is a soy protein, so soy and tofu are the same thing. Okay, and again, if you have allergies or intolerance to soy, you don't like soy, you not GMO or whatever, don't eat it because that's the big thing. A lot of people and soy. I've been consuming soy when people were calling it bean curd. Now it's soy and tofu and all this other stuff. But anyway, it comes in different consistencies. You got your silky, you have your soft, you have your firm, extra firm. So it's an extra firm, textured soy protein. And we just season it with a homemade barbecue sauce. Of course, the salt and pepper and all those other things. But Greg makes all his sauces from scratch. They are homemade. And then the crab cakes are seitan. So obviously that's not gluten free. Seitan is a wheat protein, so we make the crab cakes out of seitan.
Yeah, so there's Charlene at Cuzco. Very proud of you guys.
Hey Shirley, how are you?
It's awesome.
How's
Welcome.
everything?
I know it's
Thanks
so
for tuning
fun.
in.
Yeah, thank you. It's so fun to have interaction. So keep it going. Yeah, it's
That's family right there.
I figured with the Cuzco, I was leaning that way. So that's absolutely amazing. I part of me like just wants to kind of drive to Baltimore and eat your food, and we'll
We're
eventually
open
go.
7 days a week too. That's pretty hard. That's challenging. But 7 days.
It,
Yes. And we
it,
have a
it,
special brunch. Let me tell you about the brunch. We have a
okay,
special
please.
brunch on Sundays, 10 to 2 p.m. Gluten-free fruit-filled pancakes. Your choice of blueberry, banana, strawberry, or you can have plain if you don't want the fruits. With a veggie sausage. We use field roast sausage. I like the field roast brand. And a tofu scramble and some potatoes. So those are the options there. And we had to have brunch, because that was the one favorite thing I used to make for my husband all the time. Brunch all the time, because I'm a breakfast person. So I'm always looking for vegan breakfasts. So that was the first thing that I made for him, because he's the cook. He cooks everything. He makes everything. And I said, well, I have to make him something. And it was a vegan brunch. And I was so proud of myself. I would always make this vegan brunch. Now he can't really get me to cook today. I've gotten so busy. But I do remember those days. I was making brunch every Sunday. It was like this really big thing. It was just so much fun.
Let's see. Those rib tips have me hooked. Oh, I have to visit whenever I'm in town. So that's for me to get up to Baltimore. Maybe I really should look at when Expo East is in Philly, because we have to go through
Right. You
to
have to
get
stay.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we
Exactly.
fly, we have to go
Yeah.
through. So we can always
Mhm.
fly. We can always fly into Baltimore and drive to Philly. There's
Right.
options. There's definitely options. It's not a bad drive from here. It's after you get past Baltimore when the traffic starts to
Yeah.
set
Oh no.
in.
Tell me about it. I'm
Yeah.
coming from New York, so when I got to go up to New York, it's a book. And that's interesting because when you're going north, that's when you're hitting all the traffic. When you go and the tolls, the traffic, the
Tolls.
tolls. But
Yep.
when you're coming down, it's like, wow, this is easy.
Once you get past that tri-state area, it is a relatively easy drive. Depending on the time of day, of course. I figured out when to leave here to get to New York and not hit so much traffic. If I leave here at 3 p.m. on a weekday. So obviously I'm
Oh,
driving
okay.
towards the night.
That's gonna be a weekday. You don't want to be out there on a Friday. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's the coming back that there is no good time.
Oh no,
There's
no, you
there's not
can't. Yeah, because
there's
everybody's coming back. It's like the whole world is coming back.
it's yeah, there's you just kind of hope. You're almost like praying, like, oh, what's the traffic going to be like? Is the belt going to be jam packed? Is there going to be an
Right,
accident?
right,
It's
right,
like,
right,
oh, are we going to get through New Jersey?
right.
If we could
Exactly.
just get past, and then it's like when we hit Virginia, hopefully Virginia will be okay, because the DC area, that's your other like unknown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That you get congested there, but then after that, you're fine. But
You should
I
be, yeah.
love driving, down because it's just a lot easier.
100%. That's why my events are south of us and they're not north of us. It makes it so
Right.
much easier to just, I'm not so worried about driving to South Carolina and Tennessee and other
Yeah, let's
parts of
let's
North
talk about
Carolina.
that, the events.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm one of the co-organizers of Vegan Soul Fest, and obviously we couldn't have the Soul Fest last year because of COVID, and we're probably not going to have it this year because of the large scale events and the COVID issue and restriction for large scale events in the city of Baltimore. But we would have people from all over come to vegan. People would fly in Puerto Rico, the West Coast, East Coast, South, North, all over, and it was it's just a great community thing, an event, and the food is about the food. I mean, we have the music, the presentations, and the food, the demos, festivals. Vegan festivals are just awesome. But Vegan Soul Fest is like the best. Like that is like you want to come out and party, you come out and party at Vegan Soul Fest.
Yeah, I want to attend. Your date tends to be like a weekend before mine.
I know that's hectic, right? I've done that before. I actually went to a veg fest the weekend before Vegan Soul Fest, and I'm alive. You can do it.
I can do it now. But in the beginning, it was like there was no way.
Yeah.
Now I could definitely. Now I do travel. I'll travel up
Right,
until
right,
beforehand
right.
because we have a system.
Right. Yeah,
But
you got to get the system.
Right.
built first. Exactly.
Is that
Then,
early
yeah.
on? It was like,
Because it's scary. You're like, okay, well, the next weekend, should I really do this? Because, it's a lot. And then, yeah. But we did.
it's exactly it. Should I be away the weekend before the event? Should I make plans? Should
Right.
I go to this concert? Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a
You
phone.
gotta
I can
live.
answer.
I
I
say
can
you gotta
answer.
live. You
Yes.
gotta live because you can be gone tomorrow. And I think with the pandemic, that has been proven. Tomorrow is promised to no one. So don't put off
100%.
anything that you can do today. Now, of course, you want to be realistic and it has to be feasible, but that should be the first thing in your mind. We're so caught up in business, 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 and work, 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 that we're neglecting families and friends and all of those good natural things that you should be doing, all for the sake of work. I'm not doing it anymore. I think we was talking about it in the pre-chat. I'm living my life, man.
I agree 100%. It is the way I kind of have lived most of my life. My dad taught me very early on. He said to me, he only lived till I was 18, so it was very early on. And he said, put off work for as long as you can because you're going to be working for the rest of your life.
Oh gosh.
I took it to heart.
Wow.
I'm the only
Mm.
one of my siblings that took that to heart. He might not have said it to them. But
Right.
I
Well,
was like,
I've been working since 14, and my dad died at 7. So, so I've had to work since 14, and I've been working ever since then. So I'm at the time, and for everyone that wants to know, yeah, I'll be pushing 50 in a minute, and I'm relaxing. I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to retire.
it's, yeah, that restaurant will just should do it for you. At what point? So you started the restaurant and you had input on the type of food, and you said, "I'm still going to eat seafood." When did you switch?
It took me 3 years to transition fully to becoming vegan. And I remember this day, it was a couple of days well in my head. There was a time I went to a social event and they had some shrimp and they wrapped it in bacon. I was a big shrimp person. I love shrimp, scampi, all things shrimp, grilled, saute, all of that. And this event I went to, they wrapped the bacon around it. I'm like, who does that? Like, it's just like, I guess my body was like, this is nauseous. So, that was like the sign that things were coming. And then on my birthday, I went to this very expensive restaurant. It was, I think, a Mediterranean restaurant. And one of the things I ordered was salmon. I was a big salmon person. That was one of my favorites. And I ordered a salmon with wild rice and some spinach. They came with the plate, and this salmon was like so huge. It like took up the whole plate, and there was a little bit of rice and a little bit of spinach. And I tell you, I almost vomited on the table. And I said, you know what? I guess seafood is a wrap. And I was done. That was the last time I faced seafood and never had it again. And we're talking about what I was still working in corporate. I hadn't even left corporate yet because Greg left corporate to open the restaurant before I actually left corporate. So this would probably be in 2011, I think, the year that we opened the restaurant, or before. I don't know, but yeah, that was it. I was done.
But I guess, were you like vegetarian or like vegan except for seafood?
I would say I was pescatarian.
Okay.
And then after that, then I was vegan. So, and then, let's say vegetarian moving into vegan. The milk wasn't an issue. It was the eggs. So what we call that, octo vegetarian. Hey,
Yeah.
Karen, how are you? Karen used to work at the Verizon Wireless with me. Karen knows. Karen, when I ran out the door, nobody even knew I left the company. That's how I left. I left. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother show. That's for a different group. But
You like did a
I'm just
stealth
glad I
move.
made that decision. It was the best decision I could make in my entire life. It's sad when you have to leave corporate to really get recognized. I'm getting more recognition out here in the city, in the state, than I ever did when I was in corporate. They didn't really appreciate people at that time. They told me I couldn't sell, I couldn't market, and this is what I'm doing out here. So thank you. You did me a favor. But it did build the foundation that I have now in terms of quality assurance and customer experience, which is really hard because you can't make people deliver great customer service. That has to be something that's inner. So I think, in dealing with employees and helping them understand, building the business focus, that's part of the training, just helping people to understand like it is about the customer. Okay, maybe you think the customer isn't always right, but in this case they are. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's paying the paychecks, and we have to make sure that we do the best that we can, get the orders out correctly, the right way, and as quick as we possibly can. So building that foundation at Verizon Wireless, where I got the opportunity to do tech support and customer service and quality assurance for not just consumer, for business and government. Yeah, I think it prepared me for what we're dealing with today.
I want to touch base on something that you said a little earlier. You were talking about soy,
Yes.
and you said you made a very, very strong and important point. And it's the if you see something on the television and you don't like it, just keep scrolling, or you see something in your Facebook feed, just keep scrolling because that's
Right.
okay. If you
Right.
don't want to eat soy, then don't tell me as the restaurant person that I can't have soy in my menu because you
Right.
just don't
If you
order
don't want it,
it.
don't eat it.
Right.
That's I'm not, soy is a bean. I think yes, there's a lot of GMO products out there, and it's unfortunate. But if it's not for you, if something's not for you, and our soy, non-GMO, whatever, if you just have this intolerance or don't like soy or don't like the history or read bad things about it, don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't eat it, or do things in moderation. I have never had an issue with soy. And again, I'm coming back from it when it was called bean curd. I was 23 working on Park Avenue in New York City. It was bean curd with black. I transitioned from shrimp and black bean sauce to bean curd and black bean sauce, brown rice and veggies. And I've been eating this, what I'm saying, all these years. I'm fine. I see a physician and a holistic specialist. I'm good, folks. Ain't going nowhere right now. God willing, again, tomorrow's not promised to anyone. But if you don't like it, you have something against it, don't eat it. Nuts are great for people, but if you're allergic, you're not going to eat it. Are we going to tell people nuts are bad for you? Absolutely not. You're just allergic. We don't put nuts in our food, just in the smoothies. But we're not telling people that it's bad because it isn't. It's just people are allergic.
That's
So,
I feel like that's people want to be catered to, and it's all me. I can't eat that, so therefore why is it on your menu? Well, because
but you got to open up a restaurant. You figure it out yourself, okay? If you want a raw restaurant, open up a raw restaurant. Like go through the motions of, we everything in here is in soy. We got lentil patties, which is made of pure lentil beans. We have chickpea burger, which is made of chickpeas. You know what I'm saying? We have a live kale, sesame spinach. There's something on the menu for you, but the folks love those barbecue ribs, so they not going anywhere.
well, I mean that's incredibly important because we that's not where the customer is right, and you have to it, it's a business, and don't tell me how to run the business if you've never ever done this. You don't know. You don't
But
know
people do
running
it
a
all the
restaurant.
time.
I
People do it all
know.
the time. They'll
I
say, "Don't start that Vegfest because it's going to be a lot of work." Have you started Vegfest? No. So what? Folks told us not to open a vegan restaurant at all. especially not in the middle of a major financial crisis. It was the mortgage crisis. We
Yes.
did it
Yeah.
anyway. You buy low and you sell high. That's the practice of the stock market. Buy low, sell high. You get in on the ground floor, and then you
You build
accelerate.
up.
You excel. That's how it goes. That's the nature of business. And if you don't know that, you shouldn't be talking to people about business.
100%. And that's like a lot of restaurants opened up here and all over the country. Vegan restaurants, we'll just focus on them, opened up and food trucks during COVID and are surviving. And that's
People want to eat.
people
That's
want to
the one
eat.
thing people did during the pandemic. Eat, stuff their face. There'd be a riot if stores would close. Some people can't cook for themselves. They need food delivered. That is the one thing that people are going to do all the time as long as the food supply is here. They're going to eat. I have a restaurant and I eat everywhere across the city and the surrounding areas all the time, 5, 6, 7 days a week. People like, are you crazy? You have no, because I like different food. I don't
Right?
eat Land of Kush every day, and then we cook up here in the apartment. I mean, in the house, we live right above the restaurant. We cook up here, even though we have a restaurant downstairs. That's one thing we're gonna do. We're gonna stuff our face.
That,
Food is social.
that
It's
was
social.
right. That was the piece that was missing is the social part. But people adjusted. They pivoted, and I really wanted to support and help everybody I could over the past year and say, go do takeout, go to your food trucks, do curbside pickup, have stuff delivered within your means. If you have it, then please do it, because those restaurants really needed that support to
Yeah.
get through the last year, because I mean some of them still aren't dining in because and then the staff issues. We just went to Sprouts earlier, and there's this really cool chain restaurant called Pina Mediterranean. It's so good, like it's so good. But they had like clothes, like all these sheets of 8.5 by 11 with clothes on it. And what's
Right.
today? Today's Thursday. So I was like, they're not closed, right? They're like closed, closed. Please tell me they're not closed, closed, because that would be really upsetting if there's a hiring sign in the window. So a lot of restaurants, that's what's happening is they're closing for certain days because they don't have the staff.
Yes.
But
Yes. That is true.
that's a whole other issue of pay,
Yes.
and it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I
awful.
mean, people, I mean, it's a love hate relationship here with workers. They love it and they hate it. It's a lot of work, but it's a loving family atmosphere. So you know about family. You love your family and then you hate your family. So that's why people are here, and they're working. It's a laid back, comfortable environment. Sometimes too laid back, too friendly. Everyone's having a good time. That you still gotta kind of get the work done. Make sure we understand why we're here. Have fun, but understand why we're here. We're here to serve the customer and make sure we get the orders right and get them out in a quick manner. But yeah, there's a lot of restaurants that are going through challenges with remaining open because of staffing, and I think things are going to change once people are forced to really get back to work if they can, because some people legitimately cannot get back to work because the school or the child care issues, or they're caring for someone that may have COVID, or they have whatever that issue is. It's serious. And then there's some people that got enlightenment. I don't want to be in food service. I want to do something else. I'm out of here.
True.
So
They
then
had
you
a
lose
year.
all those people.
You could still
Yeah,
educate yourself over the past year. You could still start school.
exactly.
You could do a whole bunch of things. You kind of got stuck at home for a lot of
Exactly.
people. So
Yeah.
just as
They
long as
all went on YouTube and created major businesses, and they're, hey, I'm not going back to doing food service. Are you kidding me? Like the world is right here.
it's true. That is very true. So let's touch on Black Vegan Society of Maryland.
Black Veg
So
Society in
Black Veg
Maryland. I
Society.
say veg. I love the word vegan, but veg opens it up to everyone.
Okay.
Vegan, vegetarian, curious, reducitarian, whatever. Black Veg Society of Maryland. And when you mix all the colors together, you get black. So people need to stop. this uncomfortability about the word Black. I don't want to hear it anymore. Black Veg Society of Maryland, and that's what it's going to stay. Actually, we are rebranding to Black Veg Society, so we'll be dropping the Maryland since we are branching out and expanding. So we'll be Black Veg Society soon.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're just going to go into every state?
We're going to connect with every state or whoever we connect with outside of Maryland. We don't want people getting this perception that is we're based in Maryland, in the city of Baltimore, but we wanted people to understand that we're here for everyone, resources, connections, whatever. So you don't have to think in your mind, well, why are you doing this? And you guys are in Maryland, you know?
It's like the same thing with the soy. So people, it's okay. Like you don't just don't speak. Just do a little research. It's all right. just take a breath and take a moment. If something bothers you, just take a moment and go over it and kind of marinate on it for a little
Right.
bit.
I,
And if
I
you
think,
still have questions,
I think what people, and it's funny because I was listening to something that Cicely Tyson said. She had an interview, and everyone seems to register things, as it's black and white, and there's no gray. But there's all shades of gray. And we need to understand that. It's not like one or this.
no, this
They're
it
different tones and different
yes.
shades, and I'm happy to be one of those people that understand that, and even seeing both sides, which is hard to do sometimes. You're looking at different things in different ways and listening to different perspectives, and seeing if, okay, do I understand that or not? And then we can definitely agree to disagree. You're not going to agree. Everything isn't for everyone. I love to say that. Everything isn't for everyone.
And
We had
that's
the first,
okay.
and that's okay.
That's okay.
We had a vegan soul fest with loud music and a loud DJ, and some people didn't like the loud music. It's not for you. Don't come, because we're gonna have our music. And I'm Black and Latino, so the music stays.
And that is something that as you go and you progress in creating vegan festivals or vegan events, initially you're like, well, let me change, let me do that, you're trying to make everyone happy, and it's impossible.
You can't.
You
You're
can't.
not going to. We say that at the restaurant. We're not going to make everyone happy at the restaurant. We appreciate all feedback, and we're going to look at all feedback, but we cannot do everything for everybody. It is not going to happen. We are human. We're not robots, and even robots are going to get things wrong sometimes. So everything isn't for everybody, and people just need to accept that, and that's just the way it is.
It's, and like I said, it's okay. You just have to understand that the world doesn't revolve around you, and it kind of revolves around us doing this, and we want to make the best of everything for you. But some of you are not going to be happy, and I'm sorry that you're not happy. But overall, the event's a success. The majority of people
Exactly.
are happy. The majority of
And
people eating are happy. The majority of people attending
right.
are happy.
Happy. Right.
I don't like that it's too crowded. Oh, you can have it there again. It's going to be claustrophobic. I totally get it. But part of the energy of the event is that it's claustrophobic. I don't like that it's claustrophobic, but I like the fact that my vendors are getting money spent on them.
Right. I mean, you have to cater to your market, and you have to understand your market, and that's how that goes. I co-created the Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week, along with Golden West out here in Hamden, which is a phenomenal restaurant that was hosting vegan weeks in their veg friendly restaurant. They're not even 100% vegan, and they were hosting vegan weeks. And I approached them and I said, you know what? This is a concept that we need to take outside of here, because all of these restaurants in the city of Baltimore, they need some more plant-based options on their menus. And not that it's for everyone. See, so again, not that everyone's going to participate or be interested, even vegan restaurants, but we're going to do this because we need more plant-based options on plates. And there needs to be more exposure of restaurants that have options on their plates that people don't know about. So Vegan Restaurant Week is for everyone, not just for vegans. It is
Right.
for everyone, and that's why it was created, and it's been a success. So we're going to continue to grow with that, and we're expanding out of the city. We've had, different counties, restaurants in different counties participate, and we're going to continue to grow that because, again, people like to eat and they want different food and they want different cuisines. Everyone doesn't want vegan soul food. You know what I'm saying?
So when is that going to be? Do you have a date?
That's going to be in August. Yeah. So August is usually the first weekend in August. We do it in the summer and the winter. So it's usually that first weekend of the month all the way to the last weekend of the month. Like we did a whole month in February of this year, and people loved it. They said they want more. So we're going to do the same thing in August, and we're going to have a good time. We send influencers out. People spruce up. Some restaurants spruce up their menu to add new items. Some don't. But as long as you have something on there and you're engaging it, and I think it's beneficial to everyone. So it's a fun time. I try 3 or 4 different restaurants, new ones. So I task myself, like, I'm going to go to new places I haven't been to, in towns, in areas I haven't been to, and I had a great time.
Now, do you have any advice for setting something like that up? Because my next call at 5:30 is about doing that here.
You gotta well, maybe we can talk about that you got to make the connections with the restaurants.
Right.
It's about that connection. They have to trust that this is going to work, and yeah, that's it. It's just building those relationships. I mean, I've been a relationship builder ever since I started. You know,
Yep. You and I are
you
cut from
got
the
to
same cloth.
build the relationships,
Yes.
and the people will come, and it has to be a win-win. A lot of people enter in agreements, and it's a win-lose. You got to understand what the needs of the restaurant are. What can they get out of this? What are you going to get out of this? Is it worth it? And then move on. Again, everything isn't for everybody, and I don't get offended by it.
And from working with you, I know that you will speak your piece, speak your mind, and there's no misunderstanding of where you're at or where you want things to be at, which I greatly appreciate.
You know why? Because since I started, with Land of Kush and on this journey, what I've learned in building partnerships and being in partnerships is that when people aren't clear and when people aren't open, it causes this unnecessary friction. Just be open. Stop hoarding your feelings and hiding your feelings. Say what you have to say and just get it out. Because a lot of times people are upset with each other and they don't even know why. Why? Because you were quiet, you didn't say anything, and nobody knows what's going on. But what we do know is that you have an attitude, or I have an attitude. And why do we have this attitude? Why? Because we didn't talk about what the differences were, or someone assumed something, or wasn't clear, or they made. No. Speak your mind, have
Yes.
open communication so we can clear it up then and then move on because we have work to do. And trust me, I've worked with people I don't like that don't like me, and we were able to reach the goal that we needed to reach. Musicians and groups do it all the time, teams do it. And
Yep.
they get to the playoffs and they get the championship ring. So, but you still have to have that open communication.
Exactly. Every team, no one's going to like everybody. It's not a matter of like you need to come to my house and have break bread with me. You don't have to be that person. You just have to have enough respect for one another, your differences and your similarities, that you can work together to get to the goal that you're trying to get to. That's what it's
Right.
about. And if you have an issue, you need to communicate that issue. You need to have a conversation, not assume that the person's not going to take it well. Maybe they won't take it well. But you still need to have the conversation to
Right.
try.
It's not fair to them.
Yep.
And it's called feedback. And yes, some people can't take feedback, but feedback is everywhere you go. We're dealing with feedback, in a country that is is racist. We're still trying to overcome race. That's feedback in your face right there.
Yes.
So, I'm always realistic about that. It's going to be in everything you do, everywhere you go, again, because everything isn't for everybody, but that level of respect needs to be there so we have an understanding. Okay, this is how this person operates, and this is how this person operates. Now I understand. Okay, or I apologize if I overstepped the boundary, or whatever the situation is. Just have that
Right.
open conversation. I don't like conflict. I don't like friction. I don't like trivial arguments. Anything that's going to take up my time and it's not going to be productive, I want no parts of it, period.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more. So thank you for sharing that. I'm glad we went there as well, because these are really important things, and they transcend more than this talk. Every industry, anywhere you work, anything you do, any volunteerism, anything, this applies. So
Keep the communication open. Relationship, partnerships, friendships, whatever, family. Keep it open. You
yeah,
know, it's,
it's
it's it's
it's
not that
it's
hard.
it's great
Yeah.
advice. Absolutely great advice.
Keepitfresh.org. Make sure you're going to the site. Keepitfresh.org. June 14th. We're gonna have a lot of fun in all the cities, and you're gonna learn something. Okay, you're gonna learn how to keep it fresh in all these different areas, and the plant-based network. If you don't know about them, make sure you're downloading the app.
Right.
And yeah,
Yes, you need the app so you can see us live stream
exactly.
on that day, so you can see us live stream that day, and the videos that we're taking ahead of time, they'll be will be edited, and they'll highlight the restaurants and the people that we're going to be working with that day. So, and Susan came back with, we starting, we're ending, many things all delicious is what she had. So slightly delayed response, but a great one at that. So thank you, Susan.
Mhm.
She's in
Mhm.
Asheville, so I'll be coming through.
Awesome.
I'll be coming through Asheville soon, Susan, the beginning of the start of June. So there's
Susan, Asheville is on my list. It's not too far from my family town, so I got to get out there, see what's going on.
yep, and possibly for October 3rd, which is Asheville Vegan Fest. So a little shout out to that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Nijha, how do people get in touch with you? So we just posted your website, nijaspeaks.com. Any other
Yeah.
ways they can get in touch with you?
Naijaspeaks.com takes you to my YouTube channel with all the interviews that I've done since COVID started and a little before. You know what? I forgot I even had this YouTube channel. I had it way before Google bought it. But anyway, that's another story. At Naijha Speaks on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow me there. You can DM, reach out, all that great stuff. And of course, landofkush.com. If you're in the area, check us out. Landofkush.com is the website. We're at 840 North Utah Street, right near Martin Luther King Boulevard. And what else? I think that's it. I mean, that's all that. Oh, Black Veg at Black Veg of MD on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So follow us there. That's our charitable arm where we're doing all of our community events and supporting people and meeting you where you are 24/7, whether you want to talk to us or just find out information on your own. At Black Veg is the social media handle, and bvsmd.org is the website, bvsmd.org. And I just want to say, whatever you do, believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will either.
Awesome. And Susan said keep in touch, which is great. And there's the website, which was in my brain harder to type than words. So thank you for joining me
And
today.
thanks to all my Verizon co-workers and people that tuned in. I appreciate you. Love, love, love. Sending virtual hugs and kisses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until we see each other again.
Yeah, hopefully that's sooner over later. And just like order some food, come to the events, check us out, go to our social, do whatever you have to do. But I will see you in our meeting next week.
All right, Helene, enjoy.
All
Have a
right.
great
Have a
evening.
great
Bye
evening.
bye.
Thanks. Bye. Well, thank you once again for joining Virtual Veg Fest Live. I have no idea when I'm on next. I know I'm taking the weekend off because it's a holiday weekend, and I hope you all have a safe and happy and wonderful and filling with incredible vegan food or plant-based food Memorial Day weekend. And then next week, I have absolutely zero ideas what's happening next week. So let's go look. So on the 3rd, June 3rd, the Your Vegan Family is joining me. live at 4 p.m. And then yeah, I'm going to be on the road for these, just so you know. So it's going to look a little different, I'm pretty sure. And for the 6th, the kangaroo film, the producers of the kangaroo film will be with me from Australia. So that one's going to be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because that's going to be their following early morning. So it'll be a Sunday evening show for us and a Monday morning show for Australia. How cool is that? Australia is coming on. So let's see. Please be kind. We were out today in Costco, and a lot of people are still wearing their masks, which really makes me happy. So I'm a big fan. Big fan of these. Big fan of these being worn always. Like from now on, like they should just become part of our wardrobes. How many of you spent like money on like these really cool masks? You know what they also do? They help you from getting sick. Not just COVID, but flu, stomach virus, even though I got one, colds. I mean, it keeps you from touching your face. I mean, it's not a bad thing. These are normalized in other parts of the world. Let's start to normalize these here. It's not a bad thing to normalize. So remember to be kind and like one another and eat some delicious food. And I will see you. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next week. Subscribe to Virtual Vegfest YouTube. And remember to enter a contest. And thanks again to Shroomeats for sponsoring us. Bye, everyone.